Yo, welcome to Manuscript YouTube. Today, I'm going to do a quick little stroll through the recent City League results from Japan. So Japan's currently post-rotation. They have Scarlet and Violet base. And I'm kind of going to go through a little bit of the results with you. Now, the link will be in the description. I'm not going to do these videos every week. This is just kind of like a boring way to farm content normally. I'm not a huge fan of that type of stuff. You can go to the website yourself, but I think a lot of people don't. Christian, I know a lot of people aren't aware of this resource. So that's one of the reasons I'm sharing it with you, how to navigate it. And also, I'm curious as well as you are, what is winning post-rotation in Japan? So if you haven't listened to the Lake of Rage episode with Ethan Hegster, who is currently playing in Japan, then you should definitely go and listen to that, a little bit about their invite structure and their tournaments and stuff like that. But they have city leagues. They do have some on the weekdays, but it's very similar to League Cups for those people who played during that era, where they are essentially weekly tournaments and that they're usually Saturdays, Sundays. Stores can run, I believe it's one a month, if I'm correct on that one. But they are fairly large. They're usually 64 plus players. I think they cap at about 128 at the largest. That's really big for a, best of one into a top 8 cut tournament to earn some points towards an invite. Now, of course, the Japanese invite structure is quite complex. Go listen to that Lake of Rage episode with Ethan Hegster about it. It was back in December, I think, maybe November. It wasn't that long ago. I highly recommend. It's on this channel. I'll make it pop up in the little thing up here. But we're going to take a look real quick at this Saturday and Sunday results. So they do have their metagame shares over Saturday and Sunday. So we can take a quick look at this here Saturday in top 8 only. This isn't the total things that are played. These are the things in top 8. So out of 88 decks in top 8, of course, that is 11 tournaments, right? Out of the 11 city leagues on Saturday, 38.6 were Giratina variants. Now that's mostly Lost Box, but as we scroll through some of the results, you'll see some Arceus Giratina in there as well. And then there is 18.2% Sableye, Comfey. This is usually a Sablezard type list. The kind of thing that was before we got these fancy Mirage Gate to the amazing rares and all that kind of stuff. The deck still survives. Then we have Miraidons here, Mews here, Guardies here, Palkias here, Zoros here, some other. We'll look at the other as well. And then Sunday, look, it's still Giratina. It's still Sableye. Mew switched it up. Mew kind of had a little more success on Sunday. Some Lugia Archeops was around as well. Guardies still kind of hanging out, a little less other. So 232 on Sunday. So significantly more tournaments into Sunday's metagame. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the lists. Like I said, I'll have the link to the description if you want to go further into it. I'm not going to dive deep into any of these lists because I think you all can go look at them if you want me to. Let me know in the description, or sorry, the comments. I'm happy to explain any of the lists, or I'm happy to do a deep dive into any of these. But look, that's a lot. There's over 300 deck lists. I'm not going to go through all these, but you see we've got some Lost Zone Giratina. So this is our winner. It beat another Giratina at this store in the finals. And then another store, we have Lost Zone Giratina beat an Arceus Giratina. This is a lot of Giratina. If you don't have your Giratinas, you get your Giratinas. This is gorgeous, isn't it? Isn't this thing gorgeous? Beating a Guardian Mewtwo, we have Arceus, Urshifu, Moltres. The Moltres, of course, can take out the Mewtwo. I'm a big fan of this type of list. Why is it so small? Let's make it larger. Tremendous. So you have the 4 Klefkis, of course, getting it for Lost Box. You have the Mewtwo V Union. You have the, what is this thing? Zacian, if I remember correctly. The one that, not the Intrepid Sword, but, oh my gosh, my camera's in the way. It might be. Not the Intrepid Sword Zacian, but the other psychic one that had come out, the Alakazam. This is a super cool list. I'm a big fan. I don't know if it's good. I mean, it got second in a large tournament, so it must be pretty okay, right? Go to reset this back down. I said, we're just going to zoom through this a bit to give you an idea of there's a lot of Giratina. There's a lot of successful Giratina. It's not just the most popular deck in top 8, but it is winning and getting second at a lot of these tournaments. Here's a super cool one. The Single Strike Lugia, because the Archeops engine's a little more consistent technically than Houndoom. Houndoom damages your things. You have a lot of evolving to do. It's a lot of work, right? Obviously, Dark type's still good. Fighting type is still pretty good. There's some Arceus around. We just saw an Arceus deck. Arceus Urshifu deck is still here. So there's some cool stuff for sure. We have our There's the Miraidon. Okay, I was like, there's no Miraidon on this list. There's a Miraidon that won this one as well, beating a kind of straightforward Sableye Cramorant list. You know, they do have the Moltres in there, of course, because you got to beat the Guardies. But you can see this is kind of what's going on. The Rapid Strike box winning, good for them. I actually missed that one on my first look through of this one before doing the video. But here's some of the stuff that has seen success so far. Like I said, a lot of Giratina seeing success early. Some Sablezard still seeing success. I've heard a lot of people in my Discord link is in the description below, talking about, oh, Scoop Up Net's going to kill this deck. Scoop Up Net does not kill this deck. You just see the lists are either Tina focused if they're going for Oko, or if they're a Mirage Gate list, like here's a top 4 list. They have a Zamazenta, and that's about it. They have Zamazenta and Greninja, and otherwise they don't do anything else. They don't have all these different amazing rare attackers. We've seen some Miraidon showing up as well. A lot of them have the Regieleki, of course, to just hit these massive numbers. The Arceus Ice Rider won that tournament. Let's go down one more. Again, Sablezard, a very straightforward, I'm going to Sableye you, I'm going to Cramorant you, I'm going to Charizard you. I've got Clara to replace my Ordinary Rod. They do have one Mirage Gate, which is super interesting, you know, being able to accelerate a little bit earlier than you would be able to with, you know, the Charizard. Needing your opponent to take those prizes, right? Or you can accelerate to the Drapion in like a control matchup. They don't have much control in Japan, of course. Another one, again, Sablezard beat Sablezard. Like, that's just one of the best decks. There is a Kyogre still here, but notice the Kyogre has no other Mirage Gate targets except the water ones, because there's just a lot less going on in the list. So this is kind of what is being successful. That was just the Saturday. We can still go through Sunday, but it's about the same vibe. The pictures are a little smaller on this one, but it's the same idea of Giratina is seeing a ton of success. A little more Miraidon at the top of this one. We do have a Lugia Single Strike winning in here, which is super cool. I don't know if this deck's good, but I think it's super fun. I know everyone probably watching this like, I was really hoping you'd say Lugia is dead. No, Lugia is not dead. Lugia is around. It's just like not broken anymore. The broken decks would be so far the Giratina and the Sablezard seem to be the best decks. Mew is still around, but as you're noticing, Dark Attackers in the Lugia. We have our Drapions right here. It's probably a little small on the screen. This page is so much worse than the other one was, but you have Drapions are still in the list. The Tina can still Oko with their V-Star ability, but Mew is seeing some success still as well. This appears to be about where this format is moving. Now, of course, things will change and things will evolve over time. Here's a winning Guardy list. You know, you gotta love the split of the Guardies. No Gallade. I don't think I like the no Gallade. There should be the Buddy Catch Gallade that lets you search a supporter every turn. Is just, that has to be so good. 2 Champions Festivals as well. This is going to be an interesting one for people who have never been to Worlds and don't have their own Champions Festivals. Definitely something to consider if you want to play Guardy, investing in, because otherwise I think you get farmed by Sableye, but they have the Serena and the Champions Festival to heal off those damage counters, which is super nice because you damage yourself, and Sableye is going to ping stuff to set it up. So between damaging yourself and those damage counters, you want to heal as much as possible. Let's go ahead and come back here. Oh, that's better. Again, yeah, we have a Turbo Dark. So Turbo Dark was one that got a bunch of hype at the beginning, but hasn't seen a ton of success lately. And for the most part, it is all of these. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what has been successful. If you want to see any specific list, you want to come back and look at it in more detail, feel free to. If you ever want me to do a video diving deeper into this, I'm happy to. But for the most part, like I said, I think all of you, now that you see the resource and you have an idea of what's going on, you know, Google Translate, and then you want to check out the city leagues. The gym battles, these are much smaller, so you don't really care about those quite as much. There are some cool lists in there, but the gym battles are, look, people who win gym battles, that's great. There's like 4 to 8 people in some of the gym battles, so you'll see some crazy stuff in there. Champions League, these are much larger. These also show up on Limitless, and the extra tournaments are expanded. So now you see the resource. You can go ahead and check them out yourself, of course, but the general TLDR is Giratina is kind of the move so far, with Sablezard up there and Miraidon's around, Mew's around, Guardy having a little bit of a struggle so far, but we'll see if that actually lasts or if people are going to start to figure out how to build Guardy to actually beat things like Sableye and Giratina that hits those massive numbers. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all the other YouTube stuff. If you want to talk more Pokemon, I am not going to any regionals until post-rotation, so I've been thinking a fair amount of post-rotation, and if you are as well, feel free to join the Discord below. I'm always happy to chat ideas, theories, etc., and I want to start testing some of it as well, so hopefully you'll see that on the channel within the next, it'll be several weeks from now, but still, hopefully before the set actually drops, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out.